Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about how to clean your beauty sponges and slash beauty blenders. So today I've used a concoction of soaps. It was my first time ever trying that beauty blender soap, so I just added a little bit. I added some of Dawn just because I know it's safe to use on my face and for sensitive. And for antimicrobial reasons, I use that black seed oil because I've grown to really love it in so many ways. So some people clean their beauty blenders by putting like hot water from like the microwave, but I just feel weird about putting radiation on my face. So what I do is I boil some water, and right before it gets boiling hot, that is when I pour it in because I don't want it too hot because you don't want to like burn your fingers. But yeah, I had some chopsticks, so I just like broke up the chopsticks and I was using it. But be very careful whenever you're submerging all your sponges because my little sister didn't listen to me when I told her not to, and she poked a hole in my sponge as you just saw. So yeah, that sponge right there next to the brighter orange one is the same exact thing. The darker one is just a little bit older. They're both the Real Technique sponge, so it was a little bit older, so I really wasn't even mad about the hole. And then so after I had the sponges sit for a little bit, they were submerged in the water. That is when I used some of the Castile soap that we have. I usually use Dr. Bronner's, but in the kitchen we had some of the Equate kind, which worked out totally fine. So a large like part of me doing this is just a lot of squeezing. Either I'm trying to get the soapy water into the sponge or trying to get some of the foundation out of the sponge. So once the water, once it's hot, like, or when you first pour it in, it might be a little bit too hot. So I just let them, I tried to squeeze them a little bit, but I was burning my hands. So then I just let it soak. So then once my water starts cooling down a little bit, that is when I just individually take each sponge and just gently start working all of like the foundation, concealer, powder. You know, we use beauty sponges for literally everything on the face, most likely if you're using a beauty sponge. But be careful to just be really gentle because keep in mind that sponges are porous, which means they're, you know, when they get hotter, especially in boiling hot water, it's gonna open up really big, like how they're getting bigger, and they're gonna be more prone to breakage. So just keep a mind out for that. So yes, this is kind of a repetitive process, but I just want to make sure I'm getting all of the nasty dirt and everything out of the sponges before I get to the rinsing portion. So I just go into this meticulous, very tedious phase of me just going in and keep going around. And honestly, sometimes it's kind of hard to get 100% of all the makeup out of it, so it's understandable if you don't get all of it, but that's why I just keep going in circles to just make sure that I am getting as much foundation and product out of my blenders as I can. So when you finally feel like you've squeezed as much foundation as you're going to get out of the water, it is time to head over to the sink and drain your bowl. So as you can see, literally all that product just came right out, but I keep my sponges in the bowl. So as you can see, they're already looking cleaner, they're shining with the soap, but they still need to be rinsed. So my advice would be to keep your sponges and blenders in the bowl because you're going to just keep squeezing out all the soap. So yeah, it's going to go right back into the bowl, but at least they're soaking up water that is more concentrated with water than soap while you're waiting to get to it. So this is kind of a really repetitive process. I just honestly, I usually like clean my sponges one at a time, like right before I do my makeup, but I was like, you know what, like I just need to clean all of them at once because I was getting irritated that almost all of mine were dirty. I'm like, there's no point in me cleaning one, I might as well clean all of them. So as you can see, like I started rinsing with like lukewarm water. I wanted to keep it kind of warm so that way the product could still escape. And as you can see, the water just helps everything just come right out. So I mean, it is kind of I think this whole process took me about 30 minutes, but I mean that's 30 minutes, and then whenever it's time to do your makeup, all you have to do is wet it, or if you don't like wetting it, you don't have to, but that's usually or most people's preference. So as you can see, it's really just a repetitive process, and look how nice and clean our sponges are looking afterwards. You want to make sure to put it in a sterile place after so they can dry so you don't get mold. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.